everyone. Today's a little bit of a different video. I'm on my own today, and I thought that I would just go through a few little maintenance things with you. We're going away in a couple of weeks' time for a big trip, 2-week trip. So we're going to Shrewsbury, the Lake District, and then to the Cotswolds, to a place called Broadway, for a couple of weeks. So usually when we do a big trip like this, I tend to do a little bit of maintenance and bits and pieces. It's not our usual type of video, but I thought some people might be interested. So there's a couple of bits I'm going to show you today. So usually what happens is I like to give the water tank a bit of a clean every kind of 6 months or so, just to make sure that the water's nice and clean, or that there's no sort of nasty bugs in there. So that will be a proper clean out. So I'm just going to quickly talk you through what we do with that and the products that we use, but also our little window. If you looked at our van tour, the little window in the bathroom that's up at the top, I'll take the camera out and show you later, but the edging around that has started to come away. That's been coming away for a year or so, and I've just been doing a bit of investigation online to see what I can do to kind of correct that and mend it myself. So I bought a few bits and pieces, so I'll just turn the camera around in a second and I'll show you what I've got. Okay, so here's a few bits and pieces. Firstly, this one, Puree Clean. This is the last of a pot, but this little tiny pot of stuff is cleans and purifies all stored water systems. So this is a really good thing. They suggest every kind of 6 months or so, but what we tend to do is empty our water tanks pretty much after every journey, although there is a little bit in it at the minute, but we find if we leave the water in there for too long, even when you wash your hands, it gets a bit smelly. So I'm going to drain all that out in a minute, and then you put some of this into water, and I'll show you how I do that. And then you put it into the tank, leave it for a few hours. In fact, I might even leave it overnight, but once you've mixed it, put it in, and then you kind of drain it through the system a little bit, so that it's sat in all the pipes, and leave it to purify everything, and then give it a good rinse out. So I'm going to do that. That's a kind of a process that's a bit not complicated, but it takes a bit of time to flush things and fill things and blah blah blah. So I'll do all of that, and I'll show you how I do it. The other thing is the window. Now, I bought these two bits online. I'm hoping it's going to go okay, but who knows. I like to kind of work these things out for myself to work out. So this is like a piece of edging, and I'll take you up and show you around the window in a minute and show you how I've done it. But I've done a little bit of investigation, and I found this online, which is a windscreen installation tool set, and I'm pretty certain that with this it should hopefully, you're supposed to feed this bit through, and that should hopefully make putting this edging in, it'll make a bit more sense when I show you the window, but I'm going to have a go at doing that and see how I get on. It might go badly wrong, but it can't be any worse than it is, because at the moment it's just the edging that started to come away. I've just attached with masking tape, and that's starting to come away as well, so it's a bit mucky up there. So I'm going to get the ladder out and see what I can do. First I've got to take the old edging off, and then I'll have a look and see whether I can get this in as well. So yeah. Okay, so the first thing you have to do is empty out all the water that's already in your tank, because there's no point putting the purified water into some mucky water. So I'm going to empty out what's in there. I don't think we showed you this on the video. I'm not sure if the camera's picking it up, but when we did our van tour, basically this is our little control panel. It doesn't really do too much, but it shows you where the battery's at and how much water's in there. So if I press downwards, you can see there's no water, but that actually is a bit of a lie, because there is a little bit of water in there. So I'm going to get this drained out. I tend to do that both through both sinks. I can drain it out from underneath, it's easier just to run it through the tanks. I've got my kettle here, because sometimes when there's not a lot of water, it does get a bit spluttery, so I'm going to do that first. Okay, so as you can see, I've got my watering can and my Puree Clean. So I filled the watering can already, and I'm just going to put a little bit into the watering can to get it dissolved. It says about a teaspoon for every 4.5 litres, so I'm going to put that in, and then I'm going to take it out and I'm going to put it in the van. So I'll see you there in a minute. Right, so you have to put it into the freshwater tank. So this is my freshwater tank entry point, so I'm just going to open it up, see if I can do this with one hand, and then I'm going to just pour the water straight in. It tends to leak a little bit. I'm hoping that most of it's dissolved into there. So that's one watering can full. Right, as you can see now, I put it in first this time and then put the water in, and now it's gone a bit frothy, so I'm hoping that's better dissolved. So this goes as the second watering can. Okay, so I've put in about 3 watering cans full, so what's that, like 12, about 18 litres of water with all the puree cleaning. I'm just going to leave it probably overnight, but what I need to do first is just turn the taps on so that it pulls some of that puree clean and that water through the pipe so that it's all sat within the pipes. Ideally I'd take the van out, but I haven't really got time to do that at the moment, so I'm just going to pull it all the way through and leave it sat in the pipe so it's nice and clean. So just a little point about this water system. The water system in this van, when you fill it up from outside with grey waste, if it was totally empty, the water would go straight into the cold tank, and then would stay in that cold tank until the point when you turn either of the hot taps on. So this one here, or the one that's in the bathroom in here. And at that point, what it does, the system pulls water through from the cold tank into the hot tank, so that it then kind of evens it up, so that you've got water to be able to heat. Because if you wanted to heat the water, it has to be in a separate tank. So it's just a little being mindful of that to make sure that both tanks are reasonably empty before you start filling it. And if you want to clean your cold water one your hot water one as well, then you need to obviously even the water up between the two, meaning you have to turn both taps on. I've already done the hot one, and it's a bit spluttery because it pulls it through, but I'm just going to pull a little bit more through here so you can see. There you see when there's a bit of air in the system, that's what it does. So hoping it doesn't splash all over the camera. There we go. That's better. Get all the air out of that system and pull a bit through as well, and then a bit more through this tap here. And then I'm going to do the same thing in the bathroom. I'm not going to show you that because I can't do it all with one hand while filming. Okay, so just a couple more things I'm going to show you. Which I didn't mention at the start. I'm not sure if I've shown you these before, but these are water purifying tablets. So once the clear water, clean water tank is clear, what we tend to do when we're on a site is just every time we fill up, we pop a couple of these in anyway, just to be sure. So that kind of, if you don't put too many in, because otherwise you can kind of taste them. But if you just pop 1 or 2 in, if you're putting in 3 or 4 watering cans. The second thing is, in our bathroom here, when we were away, probably, I don't know, in Tewkesbury about 2 or 3 years ago, we were using a normal bar of soap, which wasn't a very good idea, because then at one point what it did was clogged up the sink. It's a bit dirty in here, but so if you can see down there, that's the plug hole for the bathroom sink. So what I tend to do is, before we go on a long trip, in here I tend to put in some soda crystals. So these are quite gentle, but it also gives your grey waste tank a bit of a clean. So you mix a little bit of this, which is I've already done, with some hot water or warm water, and then you just pour this down here. Hopefully you can see that, and it should just give the sink and the pipes into the grey waste a bit of a clean. So we'll see how quickly this drains away. At the moment it's not draining particularly quickly. So I'm going to probably put a little bit more down, because that gives it a little bit more of a clear out. I keep, if you wondered what the cable tie was here for, I keep this to sometimes just give this a little bit of a poke down there, just in case there's any muck kind of caught in it. What happened was this overflowed, and it was particularly gross because it came all the way over the top here and kind of flicked all the way down, and then came, and I had to throw my slippers away because they got all wet. But yeah, that's draining away, but it's not draining away particularly well, so I'm going to just put in another load and just let that sort of sit through and drain through. Right, because I've drained through quite a lot of water, what I'm going to do now to make my job easier tomorrow when I come to rinse it all through is I'm going to empty the grey waste tank. It's a bit of a palaver doing it with a bowl, but you get the bowl here, it's just by the side. I think you can see that on our van video as well, on a van tour. But you get this, and then I just open this, if I can do it one-handed. I'm not sure I can. So this comes out, and I tend to fill it up from here. This will just make my life easier tomorrow. So that's all the water that I pushed through earlier, and then the stuff with the caustic soda, soda crystals in as well. So I'm just going to do that now. Okay, so let's have a little look at this window now. So you can see where the window is. I'm up on the ladder. This is my sliding door on the side of the van here. And you can see the window here. So if you look at all of this, This is the old stuff, not that, that's the masking tape. But this is the old kind of stuff around the window. And I'm just going to pull it off now because it's almost hanging out anyway. Covered in bird poo up there as well. But if you can see, this just lifts out. I'm hoping. This seems to be the edge of the window, and this window doesn't really leak. There's a little bit of water that sometimes comes in when you're on a slight angle, but that just lifts straight out. That's come all the way out now. Okay, so I'm just going to give this a bit of a clean, just with a brush, just to, looks like whoever put the film in before, it had like almost like a little bit of glue or adhesive or something on it. So all this rim does, all this edging does, is cover over where all the screws are. I guess to stop water getting in and that type of thing. So I'm just going to clean out some of that muck. Just hopefully so that the other bit sticks quite nicely. Before I attempt to try and put the thing in, although I might need to wait for David, not sure yet. So you can see I've just been popping this edge in here. And because it's quite pliable, it's going in reasonably easily. So I've done the top bit easily. It's just on the corners here. I'm going to have to put the camera down in a minute to go around the corners. I found I haven't really even had to use the tool. Someone's just come along with a motorbike, so yeah. So I'll check back in a minute once I've walked around, once I've done the bottom side on it. Right, the bottom bit was really easy. That's taken me all of about 2 minutes. Sorry, my neighbour over the side has just started up his lovely van as well. So it's just this last little bit to do now, up round the corner. So as you can see, I've almost finished. This bit was quite tricky along this side here. Hopefully you can hear me. And then this last little bit here, what I did was chopped it, so it made it a little bit easier. So now I've just got to finish it off by just chopping an extra little bit off, and then I'll show you the finished article. Okay, it's all done. So as you can see, I've kind of finished it all the way off, all the way around. There's a tiny little gap at the top here, but I'm quite pleased with that. That's taken me about 15 minutes. I think it's all safe and secure. It's better than it was anyway. We'll see how long it lasts. There you go, finished article. Okay, right, so that's the window done. I'm actually really pleased with that. That's only taken me all of about 15 minutes, probably a little bit longer, 15 to 20 minutes. Yeah. The actual edging itself I got on Amazon, and it probably only cost me, the whole lot of it was probably only about £3 plus a little bit of postage. This was not really overly useful, other than the fact that it's got a pointy end, but to be fair, you could probably use a spoon. It would have done the same job, but I'm glad I had it because I kind of learnt a lot. I quite enjoy just finding little things to do like this little job, so who knows how long it will last. I didn't like, it seemed to be when I took the old one off that it had loads of muck underneath, like almost like tape. So whoever, when they put the original one in, I guess they taped it down, or had some sort of adhesive. I haven't put any adhesive on it, but that's okay. I just, it's better than it was. It's not hanging off now, and actually I think it's more aesthetic rather than actually it covers over the screws basically of where the whole rest of the seals and stuff are put in there, so I'm really pleased with that. Anyway, that's kind of the end of this video. The last thing I've got to do tomorrow, now I've put all the water in, that's I've got to kind of rinse that out, but I'm going to leave that overnight. And then what you do is you flush it through with loads of water. So you empty it out and flush it out. I might do a little bit more filming just to show you how to empty the tank tomorrow. But if that is the case, what I'll do is when Dave edits this, I'll get him to input it in kind of in this part of the video so you can see. So as I said, this is a totally different video than what we would normally do. Obviously it's just me waffling. If you've enjoyed it, then obviously give us a like and a thumbs up, or give us a thumbs up and follow our channel. If you haven't enjoyed it, it's just something we thought you might be interested in, seeing a little bit of the kind of what it takes to maintain a van of this age, because he's 24 years old. But yeah, give us a like, give us a comment. If there's anything that you think that you'd like to see extra about maintenance on the van, then I'm happy to kind of film some of it. If you find it really boring, that's okay, don't worry, you don't have to watch the whole video. But yeah, hopefully we'll be back to doing more vlogging soon, because obviously we're off on our 2-week trip within the next couple of weeks. So we'll look forward to seeing you soon. Okay, thanks very much for watching. Cheers, well guys, bye.